The film opens with a flashback that immediately introduces our main character, Robert. He is a professional hitman who at that time was waiting for his target. However, what made it difficult was that the target was not a stranger, but his own friend as well as his mentor, Nikolai. As soon as Nikolai walked out of the bank after withdrawing a large amount of money, Robert unhesitatingly shot him from a distance with a sniper rifle. 15 years passed, Robert was still working in his profession, and now he was even known as the #1 hitman in the world. Yet his life felt empty. When he brought one of his targets into a remote forest, the man tried to tempt Robert by offering him double the money to spare his life. Instead of being swayed, Robert handed the pistol to the man and forced him to end his own life.
Goodbye, old friend.
Robert's cold expression turned gloomy, a sign that he had begun to regret his path in life, especially because of the memory of killing his old friend. Back at his apartment, Robert kept in contact with a mysterious contractor who gave him jobs. Even though he never knew his face, he still followed the instructions. This time, he was given one last assignment with a big payment of $200,000. The target was a billionaire who had been a fugitive for 10 years and then suddenly showed up at his brother's funeral. Robert disguised himself among the mourners. As soon as the prayer began, he prepared to kill the target with a hidden pistol. But just before he fired, another shot hit the billionaire first.
Amen. Because God has chosen to...
From a distance, a mysterious sniper shot him 3 times in the chest. The situation instantly turned chaotic, people panicked and ran, while Robert saw the shooter and immediately chased after him. The sniper didn't stay still, he killed several guards before finally being cornered by the police. Unable to fight back, he pretended to surrender. The police handcuffed him and took him into a car, while Robert, curious, decided to follow. Inside the car, the sniper had a trick. He injured his finger to loosen the handcuffs, then brutally broke the police driver's neck until the car crashed and overturned. He quickly reclaimed his sniper rifle, even shooting dead other police officers who came to help. After changing clothes and disguising himself, he escaped just like that. Robert arrived too late and could only see the police already dead.
Avenue. Repeat, officers down.
That night, through police radio, Robert learned the possible location of the killer. He then stole a taxi, hoping to pick him up. Sure enough, the man stopped Robert's taxi and asked to be taken to the airport. But Robert deliberately drove past the airport. When suspicious, the man began to protest until Robert stopped the car near a soccer field where children were playing. Robert pretended to tell him to get out and find another taxi. But the man quickly realized Robert was not a real taxi driver. They pointed guns at each other. At that moment it was revealed that the man's name was Miguel Bain, a hitman ranked #2 after Robert. He admitted he had long admired Robert and knew a lot about him, even his past, because he had studied Robert's life history. Robert refused Miguel's order to continue driving, but Miguel threatened the children on the field with his sniper rifle. With no choice, Robert kept driving. During the trip, Miguel continued talking about his obsession and admiration for Robert, even joking that one day he would tell this experience to his son. The tension peaked when Miguel suddenly broke the car window and tried to shoot Robert. A fierce fight broke out inside the taxi. Robert quickly slammed the car into another vehicle, throwing Miguel off balance and making him drop his weapon. Robert almost killed him, but when he saw police surrounding them, he chose to step on the gas and escape, triggering an intense car chase on the highway. Inside the car, Miguel mentioned that he knew everything Robert had ever done, including killing his best friend. Suddenly, a truck appeared in front of them, distracting Robert and giving Miguel the chance to jump out of the taxi and escape. The police continued chasing Robert's taxi, but he managed to trick them by entering a taxi parking lot full of vehicles, allowing him to escape.
We don't got it.
Once home, Robert contacted his contractor and asked who Miguel was, but the contractor claimed not to know him. The contractor offered a new contract worth $2 million, but Robert hesitated. He eventually accepted, muttering that this would be his last mission before retirement. Robert's next target was a woman named Electra, a skilled hacker with valuable stolen information. Electra planned to sell the information stored on a disk for $40,000 to 4 Dutch buyers. Robert was ordered to kill the 4 Dutchmen, retrieve the disk, and eliminate Electra.
Hi, welcome to Marriott. How are you today?
The next day, Electra went to a hotel where she would negotiate with the buyers. She phoned them and told them to come to her hotel room. Meanwhile, Robert arrived at the airport where the buyers were and followed them to Electra's location. At the hotel, Robert tried to chase the buyers in the elevator but was too late, so he had to find another way to locate their room. It turned out Miguel was also in the elevator with the buyers. Robert used the hotel's computer system to track down Electra's and the buyers' room until he finally found it. The 4 buyers entered the room Electra had chosen, and she communicated with them through radio and loudspeakers installed around the room. Electra demanded a $10,000 down payment in exchange for a sample of the disk's contents. She sent a small robot through the ventilation system to collect the money. The negotiation continued, but suddenly Miguel entered the buyer's room and killed them all.
Going to format your disk, oriented to receiving the data.
You getting this, Handsprinker? Hey, what's going on down there?
Hearing Electra's voice asking about the buyer's condition through the loudspeaker, Miguel answered and told her to continue the transaction. Realizing what had happened, Electra immediately deleted all data transmitted from her disk, which infuriated Miguel. As Electra prepared to leave, Robert suddenly appeared and stopped her. Miguel heard them and spoke to Robert through the radio. While mocking Robert, Miguel tracked their location using the computer. Robert took the disk from Electra, while Miguel urged him to kill their target.
On my end.
Because Robert was not used to killing women, he deliberately missed and shot a pillow instead. Robert quickly took Electra with him, while Miguel entered the room and realized Robert had tricked him by not killing the target.
Who the hell are you?
I'm a government employee.
While they were on the road, Electra realized she couldn't trust Robert and tried to escape. She rushed onto a bus, leaving behind her pet cat. Robert picked up the cat and returned to his car. Meanwhile, Miguel was still in the room and found some pictures of Electra's cat somewhere, guessing that she lived there. Robert, carrying the cat, went to a pet store Electra often visited to find out her home address. Not long after, Electra returned home and started packing to leave but saw CCTV footage of Miguel shooting her neighbor.
Baby?
At that moment, Robert arrived with the cat and asked Electra if she wanted to stay alive. When Electra agreed to accept his help, Robert told her to wait at the pet store while he returned home to face Miguel. When Miguel kept searching for the disc, he found Electra's perfume and recognized its scent. Meanwhile, Electra met her female neighbor and tried to stop her from going home, but the neighbor didn't hear her, forcing Electra to go back to stop her. When Robert and Miguel finally confronted each other, they exchanged gunfire. Electra's neighbor entered, and Miguel mistook her for Electra, believing she carried the disc. When the neighbor tried to escape, Miguel shot her and took the gift box she carried, thinking it contained the disc. Electra returned to help her neighbor, but Robert stopped her. Afterward, Robert had an idea to blow something up as a trap for Miguel. Meanwhile, Miguel realized he didn't get the disc. When the explosion happened, Miguel managed to survive by jumping out the window.
I become #1.
After confirming Miguel had escaped, Robert quickly left with Electra in a car. They headed to a hotel where they formally introduced themselves. As Electra kept questioning Robert, she suddenly grabbed a pistol from the table and pointed it at him. But Robert remained calm and showed no fear. Electra explained that she only wanted to return to her peaceful life, which had now been destroyed because of Robert and Miguel. Robert told her that even if she killed him now, Miguel would still find and kill her no matter how far she ran. Frustrated, Elektra fired 3 shots but missed Robert. Calmly, Robert approached her, took the pistol, and left her alone in the room. Meanwhile, Miguel contacted his contractor, who asked about the situation. Miguel claimed he had killed the buyers and Elektra but failed to retrieve the disc, which was now in Robert's hands. The contractor became furious at Miguel's failure and cancelled the contract, enraging Miguel. On the other hand, Robert also contacted his contractor and said that he had the disc. He demanded $2 million in return, and the contractor agreed. That night, Elektra slept on the bed while Robert chose the floor. Elektra gave him a piece of chocolate as thanks for saving her. Robert offered her $1 million if she would help him carry out his plan and said he would explain tomorrow. The next day, they carried out the plan to sell the disc to the contractor's agent. After confirming the suitcase was filled with money, Robert handed over the disc to the agent. He immediately returned to Elektra, who was waiting for him in the car. But suddenly the suitcase beeped, and Robert realized it was a bomb. As they passed through an alley, Robert threw the suitcase into a trash can before it exploded, saving them both. Now Robert understood that his contractor wanted him dead and that he no longer had the disc. Unbeknownst to him, Elektra had only given a copy of the disc because she didn't fully trust Robert, while the original disc remained with her. Robert contacted his contractor again to test the disc's importance. He raised the price to $20 million. The contractor had no choice but to agree and asked for an account number to transfer the money. Elektra was shocked by the amount, and Robert promised to share it if she continued helping him. Meanwhile, Miguel contacted his contractor again, begging for another chance. When the contractor agreed, he gave Miguel a new target, Robert. The next day, Robert and Elektra went to the Caribbean to continue their plan. They headed to an old abandoned hotel near a bank and reached the top floor. Robert suddenly stopped, looked toward the window, and explained his plan to Elektra for the next day. He said he knew Miguel would come to carry out his mission. Robert would enter the bank to collect their money, knowing Miguel would be at that window waiting for him to come out. But Robert would deliberately take a long time inside the bank to make Miguel wait until he was forced to go inside to confirm his presence. Miguel could not carry his sniper rifle inside the bank because he would be caught by guards, so that would be Elektra's chance to sneak into the hotel and hide the sniper, preventing Miguel from killing Robert. Elektra asked how Robert could be sure Miguel wouldn't kill him once he entered the bank, and Robert replied that Miguel loved history and knew his past, especially the killing of Nikolai at that very window.
I want to see my eyes.
Why are you so sure?
15 years ago, in the same room, the same window.
Robert was convinced Miguel would imitate him, waiting for eye contact with his target to prove he was the #1 killer. That night, Miguel, who had already arrived at the location, began planning his mission. Meanwhile, Robert and Elektra spent time at the hotel, where Elektra watched locals parading in celebration of a festival. Robert approached her and began sharing his long-held regret over killing Nikolai 15 years ago. As Robert started opening up to Elektra, he realized she was no longer on the balcony but had gone down to join the parade. Elektra accidentally saw Miguel in the crowd and quickly hid, but Miguel noticed her leaving. He began searching and smelled her perfume, confirming she was nearby. Just as Miguel was about to find her, Robert appeared and hid her safely. Miguel saw flowers with the same scent as Elektra's perfume, making him believe he was mistaken. The next day, Robert and Elektra prepared to execute their plan, with Robert giving Elektra a pistol in case it was needed. Robert said he had never relied on anyone else to save his life, but now he entrusted it to Elektra. He then kissed her gently before leaving the room. Finally, Miguel reached the top floor of the hotel and set up his equipment, unaware that Elektra was watching him from outside. Robert entered the bank to ensure the fund transfer and asked the manager to close his account. The process took a long time, and Robert agreed to wait all day as part of his plan. While Robert waited comfortably inside the bank, Miguel patiently waited at the window with his sniper ready to shoot Robert when he came out. But as time went by, Miguel began losing focus from dehydration and the scorching heat.
Fuck are you doing in there?
Impatient, Miguel decided to enter the bank to confirm Robert was there, while Elektra hurried to the hotel to hide the sniper. Unfortunately, the sniper rifle was no longer in its original place. Miguel had hidden it in a higher location. Once Miguel entered the bank, he saw Robert sitting and waiting for him. Miguel approached, and they spoke about their situation. Robert offered him all the money he would receive if Miguel let him live. Robert knew Miguel wouldn't accept because he wanted to become the #1 hitman by killing Robert. Meanwhile, Elektra tried climbing to reach the sniper, but her attempt only made her fall.
How did you know?
Because I was the best.
Miguel bid farewell to Robert and returned to the hotel to retrieve his sniper, unaware that Elektra was there.
Everything's in order, sir. Please come.
After Robert received his money, the manager asked for the disc as requested by the contractor. Once the transaction was complete, they escorted Robert out of the bank. Miguel, waiting at the window, finally saw Robert exit. As Robert looked at him, the moment he had been waiting for, Miguel prepared to pull the trigger. But suddenly, he sensed something strange about Robert's expression. He smelled Elektra's perfume behind him just as Elektra shot him in the shoulder.
Howdy.
Miguel fell from the building, and Robert immediately ran to save Elektra. A fierce battle broke out between both sides, with Robert finally defeating Miguel by shooting him from the upper window. Miguel was badly wounded and could no longer fight. At that moment, Robert's friend Nikolai suddenly appeared, pointing a gun at them, shocking Robert.
The years have been good to you, Robert. It's been a long time, my friend.
Nikolai.
He killed you. 15 years ago, he killed...
It turned out Nikolai was the contractor for both Robert and Miguel and had orchestrated the bank shooting to trap Robert. He knew exactly where Robert would shoot him, so he wore a bulletproof vest to survive. Nikolai had faked his death to hide for a while because the Cold War had ended, and he didn't want to face prison for his crimes. The disc contained sensitive information that could incriminate him if it reached the police, so he planned to kill Elektra.
Good. I had to use both my best to track you down. You thief. A good one.
So there's something on that disc that would bring you back to life?
Enough information to expose us all, especially me.
Why did you set me up?
Why can't you two just kiss and make up?
Sentimental, but I did not want to find you alive.
Realizing that Nikolai also intended to kill him, Miguel, who was barely conscious, signaled to Robert, and they both fired at Nikolai before turning their guns on each other. Miguel lowered his weapon, pretending to make peace with Robert. Robert said that he was retiring and this was the end of his story, which meant Miguel would become the #1 hitman. But Miguel knew that as long as Robert was alive, he would never truly be #1, so he decided to kill him.
No goodbyes.
As long as you are out there, I'll never be #1.
With Elektra's mirror's help, Robert saw Miguel's reflection and shot him multiple times from behind.
Goodbye, Miguel.
Robert thanked Elektra, and they prepared to leave. Before departing, Elektra took their money and disc, closing the film with that ending. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching.